Hello everyone, Michael Santiago here with Rising Co. And today we're going to go over a basic tutorial. We're really going to learn how to create a page while we're on the Divi theme and making sure that the page is actually editable on Divi. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over different versions. And so Divi comes with a visual builder, but they also come with a classic editor. And so depending on your situation, whether you are inheriting a WordPress website that has the Divi theme running and you need to learn how to actually use it, that's what we're actually going to go over every use case today for creating a page. And so here I am in this fake page using a Divi templated page with our logo on it. We're going to go over here. I'm already logged in as an admin, so I'm just going to go into the dashboard section. And I'm going to go under pages. And so this is what you want to do first to really understand and see how you are going to be creating a page first in Divi, because based on whether certain settings that you have on Divi, it's going to make a big difference. And so in this case, let's go into add new page. This is how you're going to actually create a brand new page. Let's say I want to name this page an about page. I can set this up as about, but you see, if I just leave it as this, I'm not actually utilizing Divi completely, right? And so there's this nice big purple button, use the Divi builder. If you see this, click that, right? And so once we click it, you're going to notice something here. So it's giving us options: build from scratch, choose a pre-made layout, clone an existing page. And so depending on what you want to do in regards to your use case, you can build from scratch, you can choose a pre-made layout from an assortment of Divi layouts. 341 layout packs, and so they're pretty sweet, pretty cool. So let's just take one for example, right? Let's take this food co-op landing page. We're just gonna select this one right here. We're gonna select use this layout, import design presets. That's just going to import everything that that specific layout is going to need. But we're gonna let the screen bar go. And you're going to notice that depending on your Divi theme, right, depending on your choice, whether you did build from scratch, whether you choose a pre-made layout, or whether you actually cloned an existing page that you have in case you want to keep the theme uniform, you'll notice that this did not take me to Divi's visual builder. This actually took me to Divi's classic editor, which means that everything is broken into blocks. And so these blue blocks are sections, these green blocks are rows, and then these gray blocks here are all modules. Clearly, these are text modules, meaning that they have text and they show text. Welcome to Divi Co-op. Here are some images of leaves and stuff like that on the layout. And then it just has a whole assortment of different things. Now, if you know how to use Divi, you can easily do this. Less resource intensive, really easy to navigate through and just make any changes on the fly. But more than likely, you are probably going to want to be using the visual builder. And so let's first hit publish here, just so I can at least publish this about page. What you're going to hit publish is that actually means that your page is going to be live, but you may be on the visual builder. And so if you're on this and you're thinking to yourself, how in the world am I going to create a Divi page and edit it by doing this? I have no clue. Well, let's go into your settings. And so first, let's go into Divi and let's go into theme options. And so in theme options, if you go into builder and then you go into advanced, here is where you're going to see these options. Depending on your Divi version, you may see something different, but you should be seeing enable classic editor or enable the latest Divi builder experience. Now, ideally, you want to have the latest Divi builder experience enabled. But in this case, the reason why when I created a page and used the Divi builder, it showed the blue blocks and the rows the way it did is because I had enable classic editor toggled. And so in this case, I'm going to disable this, right? And I can enable this anytime that I want to. But I'm going to save my changes. And all right, so we have disabled the enable classic editor. And so now we're going to create a new page, but using the visual builder instead. And so you're going to see how different it is. So if you go to pages here on the dashboard, we're going to hit add new page. In this case, we're going to name this one maybe contact. And now we're going to build your layout using Divi. And so we're going to just use Divi builder. We do not want to use the default editor. Normally, sometimes you might have a pop-up that says like, check out the new block editor. We don't want to use that either. That's not Divi. That's the WordPress Gutenberg theme. And what we want to do is use the Divi builder. So I'm going to click on this. And you're going to notice that no longer are we getting the classic editor that had the blue blocks with the green and the gray. Now it's actually going to be a visual builder where we can actually see what it is that we're working on. And so in this case, we can build from scratch, choose a pre-made layout, clone existing page. Let's just choose a pre-made layout again, right? Let's go over these and let's go into that food co-op one again that we were at. And let's say this is a contact page. Let's just click on contact here and let's just say use this layout. Import precepts, of course, we're going to import this. And guys, this is very useful, especially if, let's say, you're just inheriting this and you want to learn how to modify things or how to play around with the Divi theme in general. It's a good thing to use these pre-made layouts as a base to just help bolster your understanding and learning of it. But if you see here now, the page is completely different. I'm not seeing everything in blocks. I'm seeing everything visually as it should be. This one here says, oops, something went wrong. Didn't load Google Maps correctly. This could very well be because of the map settings of the import of the layout. So we don't have to worry about that. And now what I want to do is for me to actually publish this page that we just made. We just want to hit publish here, or you can hit save draft. And so if you hit publish, that just means that the contact page will be available to everyone that has access to your website. If you hit save draft, it's only available to you as an administrator. But there's a lot of cool things here in the visual builder that you're going to see. You can see different modes of desktop. You can see how it'll look on tablet. You can see how it'll look on a phone. You can actually see the blue blocks as well by going into the wireframe view. And this will actually show everything as the classic builder will show it. But let's go back to this desktop view here. And what we're going to do is we're going to obviously publish this because this is how we create this page. And so we're going to hit publish. And now we are officially, if I were to select exit visual builder here, we're going to actually exit the Divi builder. And so now I'm on the actual page, get in touch, blah, blah, blah. We can actually type our name here, email, message, etc. And now we've actually created the page, but this time we did it under the visual builder and not the classic editor. And so now every single time that you actually access this page through the dashboard going into pages, if we click on contact, it's going to tell us this layout is built with Divi, edit with the Divi builder. And then it's going to show us the visual builder as we saw it. Now, as you get used to it, if you want to not have to always go into visual builder and go straight into the classic editor, you can always go back here to builder, advance, and enable the classic editor. You can hit save changes. And now if you go back to pages and contact, instead of opening up that blank page that says go into visual builder, now it shows you this. And mind you, other great things about this, you can actually just go into your website. Let's say we go into contact. Oh, I forgot this menu is not the correct menu. So let's go into our contact page. I know that's the slug. And so now I'm in the contact page, right? You'll notice this little button here, enable visual builder. So anytime that you are on the page in your website, you can easily just go to it and you're logged in as an admin. You can just click enable visual builder and you'll actually be faced right now with the actual visual builder in place. And you can just make any edits, save again any changes that you make, and exit the visual builder. And so that's how we create pages on Divi based on whatever settings your WordPress theme already comes with. But now let's look at posts. And so posts can be very different. And so with posts, this is normally something that is going to be for your blogging. And you'll be very careful with this because sometimes your blogs, depending on what you're inheriting in regards to your website, it can either have posts that are just normal WordPress posts, or it can be posts that are edited with Divi. And so oftentimes, some people may not use Divi for the actual post itself and only for pages. The reason for that is just for lack of complexity. Oftentimes what happens is that you'll find the use case where on Divi here, if you go down here and if we go into theme builder, people can actually build templates for different types of posts. And so let's actually go over that very briefly, just so you can have a better example of what the use case could be like. And so let's actually just create a post, right? So I'm going to create a post, add a new post. And this is what it's looking like right now, because I do have the classic editor installed, which means then that the way that this post looks, it looks more of like the old classic theme of WordPress. Let me show you what it would look like if I didn't have this option on. And so if I go to Builder, go to Enable Classic Editor and disable that again, let's save my changes. Let's go back to Post. And now if I add a new post, you're going to see this: add title, use Divi Builder, use default editor. Now, if I use the default editor, the way that this looks, this is the Gutenberg model. This is going to be completely like different. So let's say my article is called 3 recipes for Philly cheesesteaks, right? Guys, I was born in Puerto Rico, but I lived in Philadelphia for 3 to 4 years in my childhood. And boy, do I miss them Philly cheesesteaks. I'm in Florida now. Florida's wonderful though. The weather is perfect. We just need mountains. Anyway, 3 recipes for Philly cheesesteaks, right? And so you may have your post in this model, and that's completely fine. But you just need to know like how to actually modify that, edit that, add imagery, add paragraphs, etc. Like right here, I can just add this little image here, and then I can talk about it, right? Like, those are amazing vegetables. And there's a tomato. So if you think that a tomato is a fruit, then you can put in fruits. But this is just one of the models for the post. And so I'm going to just save draft in case I need that for later. But there it is. There's my post, right? Now, if I don't want that kind of like style, because sometimes the Gutenberg can be a little like complicated to deal with, let's just go back to Enable Classic Editor. We're going to save changes. And we're going to go now to post, and we're going to add a new post. And now it's going to take us back to this mode of post. And so with post, let's say with this one, I'm going to say 5 recipes for Philly pretzels. Now, Philadelphia pretzels, y'all, they're amazing. And so I hope that you guys get to taste and go to Philadelphia for these pretzels. But anyway, in this case, for these posts, I can make any kind of modifications here. You'll notice there's a visual version and there's a text version. Text version is usually, I like to just copy and paste things here of what I write on a document separately. And then I go into the visual form and I start to actually modify. So let's say in text, I just said, the heading is going to be, or actually the intro is going to be, I love Philly pretzels, right? And so let's say here, I want a heading to describe the pretzel, right? So let's say texture is everything, right? And then I start to blurb about texture, right? Let's just say I start to write a paragraph about texture and anything. So let's go to the visual form. So here, texture is everything. I can actually modify my tags here. And so I'm going to put this as a heading 2. And the reason for that is for SEO purposes. We cover that in another video. And so I will cover that using Rank Math free version or even the pro version. But this is how like you would edit things, right? Like let's say I want to add some images again. Boom, you can just do that there. We can just set some additional settings on the right. We can set categories for our blog post. So let's say this is for recipes. We can add a new category on the fly and select that. We can select tags for people that are searching for stuff on our website, so they can find our posts much more easily. We can say Philly pretzels and then set featured image. This is obviously not a pretzel, but this is important because this is going to actually show itself when you actually add a blog module in your actual pages for your forms. And so let's say that this blog was done, even though it's not, but let's say it's done, right? Let's just hit publish here. And now what I have, if I were to actually view this page, I have this in the standard, like original Divi without like any like theme modifications. Now you may not have your blog post shown like this. And the reason why you may not have that is because they may have modified that post under Theme Builder. And so if we go to Theme Builder, you'll see right now this is an empty skeleton. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to add a template for posts. And so some of you guys may have your website with this, or you may want to do this for sure. But let's say that for posts, we're going to put all posts are going to have a specific style of template. And so what we're going to do for this is we're going to add a custom body here. And so what this means is essentially I am now modifying the way that my posts are going to look. And so if you saw on the previous page, let's actually pull that up. We have different tab here. Let's actually go back in here. Let's go into posts and let's see the 5 recipes for Philly pretzels. So this is how it looks like right now, right? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to build an actual template for that post in this video. So let's go into theme builder. You'll notice that it's pretty empty right now. I can add something from a layout, but because I'm pretty well versed in what to do here, what we're going to do is every post should have some kind of like title area, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to just add a row because every section needs a row. And so what we're going to do is just put a single row here, and I'll explain more about that in another video. But just for the sake of explaining this so that you know exactly like how to modify a post template in case that's what you're inheriting from an agency or someone that created your website. Let's go into insert module, and we're just going to insert a text module, right? And so this is going to be, actually, what am I doing? Let's drop that. What we're actually going to do is we're going to look for a module that is post related. So you see here, Divi already comes with modules that essentially allow you to edit the way that a post page can look like. And so here I'm going to put post title, and now it's going to give me a whole lot of different settings. And so for the sake of this, we're just going to leave it as is. We're not going to make any modifications. Actually, except for the fact that I don't really want to show the featured image here. Actually, no, it's fine to show the featured image. What we'll do is real quick, let's just make this nice and centered. And so what I'm going to do is go to design, I'm going to go to title text, and it should be a standard H1 here, which is what every page should have, at least one H1, really only one H1. So in this case, I'm going to hit this to text alignment to center. And then I see that these tags are not centered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little paintbrush here. And this is also on the visual builder. And this automatically finds that element under the design to make things faster for me. So I'm going to go to meta text here. I'm going to use the text alignment to center it as well. And ta-da, here we go. We have a nice little looking thing. Color needs some little love here. So let's go into the section, click this gear icon, which is just show the settings. And now let's go into background. And what we're going to do is, depending on your Divi theme, you may not have all these options. This is the latest Divi theme. So in this case, let's just add a nice little background pattern. Look at all these polka dots, they look crazy. So let's go with something a little less, right? Right, this looks cute, tuft. Yeah, let's do this. Let's maybe give it a nice little pattern color. I'm gonna just go in here, give it a nice little blue love here and increase the tones a bit so we can see a little bit more of that blue. And ta-da, I'm gonna hit the green check mark to save that. And I'm just gonna hit save. It's a good habit to be saving oftentimes so that if something crazy happens, you don't lose all of your stuff. But Divi has a pretty good backup system in place, and we'll go over that in a different video as well. But let's look at this. I have one section block, right? If I go to wireframe view, I got one section block. And what I wanna do is I just wanna click on that gear icon, hit M and label, and hit header title. This is just so that it helps me to know exactly what this is. But I'm done with this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another section. So I can do that here by hitting this blue plus button. But I can also do that by hitting the blue plus button here as well. So I'm going to hit that too. And I'm going to hit regular. I'm going to insert one row here. And now in here, I'm going to select post and then post content. So the post content is all of the verbiage that you put in that post. And so in this case, it's just going to show texture is everything. And so let's go into content, background design. It's really not much that we have to do here because everything is usually relegated to the design. And so what I mean by this is that for post content, when it comes into actually editing the way things look, if you use an H2, for example, a heading 2 in your post, you're going to want to go in here to post content heading 2, and you're going to want to modify the way that that actually looks. Because maybe we want that to be ultra bold, and maybe we want that to be red, right? And so we have that. Maybe let's give it a little text shadow, right? It'll make it pop. Not saying that you have to, but this is just for example's sake. And so we have that. So we have a title and we have a content. I think this is enough. Maybe I can put in here an admin label to just say post content. That way I know exactly what it is. But let's hit save here. And when you're making a theme builder update, or let's say you're creating a brand new template, after you hit save, you want to hit the purple X button, but don't leave here yet. You still have to save the changes. If you leave here and you don't save these changes, your work would have been for naught. So let's save changes here. Now I have a template for all posts. So what does this do? Now, if I go back here and I go to 5 recipes for Philly pretzels, right? So now if I were to go here again, let's just do it in another tab, right? So let's just make a brand new tab here and let's click on, actually, let's create a brand new tab. There it is. So let's do that. Let's click on that. And now look what happened. This looks completely different from this. And what changed? We created a Divi theme template. And so now you see the red and the drop shadow looks a little too much. Even this text is having some texture right now. But I can modify this anytime I want. I can make this all centered. I can do whatever I desire in this template and all the posts will follow suit. And so sometimes you may be inheriting an actual WordPress site that has a post template. And if it does, you're going to want to modify it there in case you want to change the colors, in case you want to change some things. Maybe you want to have a right column and not just have content in the middle. Maybe your right column has some call to actions. You know, maybe you're a nonprofit and you're asking people to help give into your vision and nonprofit goals and stuff like that. Or maybe you are wanting to give them a, hey, sign up for a free newsletter and all that stuff. There are a lot of things that you can do in the template because it's not just relegated to your title and your content. You can literally have a comment box, right? We don't have that here, but I can add that if I wanted to, and so on and so forth. And so that's really what you're really going to be experiencing when it comes to creating posts or modifying an existing post. And then that's also going to be a wrap up too for creating pages. And so on our next video, we're actually going to go into a deeper dive into Divi as far as what do the modules do, how to actually modify things right. You'll see that in this video, I went a little bit quickly on some of those things because I want to do a deeper dive in another video. And so I hope this was a great learning experience for you. Let me know in the comments if there's any way that I can make this a lot better for you to actually learn and know what it is to do. And if you have any questions in regards to Divi in general, right, as far as what you want to do and what you don't know how to do and would like for me to do a video on that, please let me know in the comments so that way I can actually create that content for you. But we do run a digital marketing agency named The Rising Co. We do offer, free consultation calls to be able to go over your website and just give you an assessment, how it's doing in regards to search engine optimization and other things. And so if that's of any interest to you, be sure to check out the description for a link there where you can actually schedule a call to see exactly where you're at and where you could be. But without further ado, this is Michael Santiago with The Rising Co. Thank you so much for visiting, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.